Okay, dear, Assalamu alaikum. So today I'm going to explain that how can you solve questions, the skills which are required to get full marks, inshallah, for the questions which are there in the exam paper. So in this video I'm going to explain the questions which are related to covalent bonding, because already I have shared covalent bonding with you. You have seen the first video which was about covalent bonding. Now the questions which are there in the exam paper, in paper 1 and 2, mostly these questions, there are 2 marks for these questions. The first mark is you need to show the bonded pairs of electron, and the second one you need to show the lone pairs, which are also known as non-bonded pairs of electrons. So these 2 things you need to show in your structure, and you will get 2 marks. This is your mark 1, and this one is your mark 2. Now keep it in mind, in all these questions, your mark 2 depends on your mark 1. If you are able to achieve mark 1, then you will get mark 2. If suppose by any chance you are losing mark 1, then it means that you will lose automatically mark 2. So we say that mark 2 depends on mark 1. How? You will see now. In the videos I'm going to explain it, that how mark 2 depends on mark 1. But keep in mind these 2 things. We need these 2 things to get 2 marks. The first one, you need to show bonded pairs, and the second thing, you have to show the non-bonded pairs of electron. First thing. Second thing, in these questions which are related to covalent bondings, there are 2 levels of question. We call them level 1, which are easier, and we call them level 2, which are of course comparatively challenging questions. So let's see these questions, their levels, and how mark 2 depends on mark 1, and what are the bonded pair of electrons and what are the lone pair of electrons. So we go to the next slide and start the lesson, inshallah, that how can you solve these. Okay, dear. Here you can see a question which says the displayed formula of hydrogen peroxide is given, and what you need to do, you need to complete the dot and cross diagram, right? So the crosses and dots are given. Now in these type of questions, you can choose dots for oxygen, you can choose cross for hydrogen, you can choose cross for oxygen, dot for hydrogen, doesn't matter. But sometimes in some questions the key is given which I'm going to mention in the last part of this video, that if key is given, we have to follow the key to get the full marks. First thing. Second thing, you can see here the structure of H2O2, it's given. H2O2 is given. Now as I told you in the beginning of this video, that we have 2 marks. One is mark 1 and the other one is mark 2. Now mark 1 is for the bonded pair of electrons. Now the first pair of electron has been shown for you here. This is, suppose this one is electron of hydrogen and this is electron of oxygen. This is electron of hydrogen and this is electron of this oxygen. So just to differentiate between the electrons of the 2 different oxygen atoms, we represented one by empty circle and the other one by filled circle, right? While the crosses are representing electrons of hydrogen. Now I'm going to go for the first mark, which means I have to complete the bonded pairs of electron. So if I want to show here the bonded pair of electron, So suppose this is oxygen, the electron of one oxygen, and this is the electron of another oxygen, which is empty. Now we know one thing, that oxygen is in the 6th group of the periodic table, which means he has 6 electrons in the valence shell, and we have to show electrons which are in the valence, yani outer valence shell means outermost shell. So each oxygen has 6 electrons in the outermost shell. Right now I can see for each oxygen, for this oxygen I can see first electron and then second one. So 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. So I need to draw more electron of oxygen to complete the 6 electrons. So this is 3rd one, this is 4th one, this is 5th one, and this is 6th one. Exactly same thing I'll do for another oxygen, 3rd electron, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Right? Now I can see this oxygen has 6 electrons in the outermost shell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What about this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 electron. Now this is, now where are my bonded pair of electrons? So let me show you that my bonded pair of electrons, this is the first bonded pair, and this is the second bonded pair, and this is the third bonded pair. So if I have shown these 3 bonded pairs, I'll get 1 mark, right? What about the second mark now? Now you can see this electronic pair and this electronic pair for this oxygen, and for this oxygen this electronic pair and this electronic pair, we call them lone pairs or unbonded or non-bonded pair of electrons. So I need to show them even, right? And if they are right, then I'll get my second mark also. The second mark comes from the non-bonded or from the unbonded electronic pairs, if they are right. Now, as I told you that your mark 2 depends on your mark 1. One thing, what does it mean? It means that if, example, I did like this. This is oxygen, this is oxygen, this is hydrogen, and this is hydrogen. Now let's say I have represented all non-bonded electrons like this, right? And then this one is here and this one is here. This is hydrogen and this is bond of electron of this oxygen, and these are electrons of this oxygen, and then this one and then this one, right? Now see, what if suppose I did any mistake here? Let's say like I didn't show the proper number of electrons here. See, I'm going to just remove this electron. Now I can see here that what I did, the number of unpaired electron. See, this is one unpaired, this is another unpaired with this oxygen, and even this oxygen has 2 unpaired electrons, which are exactly same like here. But unfortunately I did one mistake now. See, this is one bonded pair, this is another bonded pair, but the third bonded pair is missing. The third bonded pair is missing, so I will lose this M1 mark, M1. Okay, now my M1 mark is unfortunately gone. Now as my M2, the second mark depends on mark 1, right? So my answer for the unpaired and lone paired of electron is right, but even I will lose these, the second mark also. I'm not going to achieve it. So this is how your mark 2 depends on your mark 1. If your mark 1 is right, which means mark 1 means that your bonded pair of electrons are right, then you will get the second mark. But if your mark 1 is wrong, which means that your bonded pairs are wrong and your lone pairs are right, your non-bonded pairs are right, even you will not get that mark. You will lose the second mark also. So mark 2 depends on mark 1. This is quite technical point. You need to keep it in mind. The second and most important thing is that as a student, how will I know that my structure is right or wrong? Easiest way is that for non-hydrogen atoms means oxygen, sulfur, nitrogen, fluorine, halogens, we need to show 8 electrons in the outermost shell. If they have 8 electrons in the last shell, it means my structure is right. So let's see my structure. Now let me see about this oxygen. So count total number of electrons with oxygen, with this oxygen. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So octet is complete. What about this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So each oxygen has 8 electrons, which is known as octet rule. So we have to look for octet rule. If it is complete for other than hydrogen, for hydrogen, we need to check 2 electrons, right? For hydrogen, 2 electrons. But for other than hydrogen, we have to look for 8 electrons. It means my structure is right. Now, even for hydrogen, we can see we have 2 electrons. So this is first electron, this is second one, first one, second one. So hydrogen is complete, oxygen is complete. It means my structure is right. Now, this is level 1 question. Level 1 question means because the structure, the displayed formula of hydrogen peroxide is already given. So what I need to do, I need to just complete the number of electrons with each atom, keeping in mind that oxygen has 8 electrons in the outermost shell and hydrogen has, for oxygen I have to have 8 electrons and for hydrogen I have 2 electrons. The molecular formula is given. So I'll get these 2 marks. Again, the first mark is for the bonded pairs and the second mark, which depends on the first mark, is for the non-bonded or for the lone pairs of electron, right? Let's question now. Now this is level 2 question where they ask for HBr, hydrogen bromide. Now we don't know anything about hydrogen, it's just the molecular formula is given HBr, right? So we need to know the position of hydrogen in the periodic table and position of Br in the periodic table. So I know that hydrogen is in the first group of the periodic table. So he has just 1 electron in the outermost shell. You can show it by cross. What about Br? I know Br is in the 7th group of the periodic table. So he has 7 electrons in the outermost shell. And these are the dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Right? Now, these two electrons are going to make your bonded pair. So this is known as your bonded pair, right? Bonded pair, right? Okay, your bonded pair is there? Yes. So you will get 1 mark. This is M1. What about the non-bonded pairs? So we have non-bonded pair 1, 2, and 3 with bromine. So these are known as lone pair of electron, right? So they are there? Yes. Correct? Yes. But my M1 is also right? Yes. I'll get the second mark. So I'll get these 2 marks. Now this is level 2 question, which means that the whole structure, nothing is given. I need to even think about the structure and I need to complete the bonded pairs as well as the lone pair of electrons or the unbonded pair of electrons with each one. Let me see my answer. Now, as I told you that for Br it has to be 8 electrons. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, which is complete. For hydrogen, we have 2 electrons, 1 and 2. So that is my structure, and it means my structure is right. Next page. Here is a question which is about compound, and that is known as a hydrazine. Now, hydrazine is a compound. Here is the formula of this compound is given by some in a way, but we have to complete the outermost shell of these electrons. Now I know that nitrogen is in the 5th group of the periodic table. Nitrogen is in the 5th group. It means he has 5 electrons in the outermost shell. And hydrogen is in the 1st group of the periodic table, which means he has 1 electron in the outermost shell. And of course he has just 1 shell. Now here ammonia is given as a reference. Nitrogen is given, hydrogen is given, and we are using nitrogen, hydrogen even in the same structure. So as we know, nitrogen is in the 5th group. So first what I'm going to do, I'm going to show the electrons of hydrogen, suppose. So this is cross, and this is suppose cross of hydrogen, this is cross of hydrogen, and this is cross of hydrogen. What about nitrogen? Suppose this one I'm going to show by empty circle, right? Now 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. What about another nitrogen? Let me show them by filled structure, filled circle. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, because he's in the 5th group of the periodic table, right? Now I'm going to draw the bonds here. So this is first bond, this is second bond, this is third bond, this is fourth one, and this is fifth one. All right, now let me see. I'm going to see my structure. Is it right or wrong? For that I need to look at the 8 electrons with nitrogen. So see, first electron of nitrogen, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7 and 8. Good. This one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. It means both nitrogens have 8 electrons, while each hydrogen has 1, 2. This hydrogen has 1, 2. This one has 1, 2. This one has 1, 2. Okay. And look at the 2 marks now. The first mark is for my bonded pair of electrons which are there. I mean, this is my first bonded pair, this is my second bonded pair, this is third one, this is fourth one, this is fifth one. So if all of them are right and they are there, you'll get 1 mark. And the second mark is because of the lone pairs, the non-bonded. This is first non-bonded pair, this is second non-bonded pair. So you'll get 2 marks here in the structure, right? Okay, now the next page now. Exactly same thing. This is again L1 question, level 1 question. The structure is given. You need to just draw the electrons and then put them there, and that will be your final structure. And then this is the question which is related to the key which is given. See, the key is given. So the key is given, which means that you have to show oxygen's electron by empty circle, chlorine electrons by crosses, and then the carbon electrons you have to show by filled structure. You need to follow the key. This is known as key. So if key is given, you have to follow it, otherwise you will lose marks. Even if it is right, you will lose the marks, right? Suppose this is carbon, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is oxygen. The oxygen electron is by empty circle, so I'm going to put oxygen is in the 6th group, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And this is chlorine now, which is in the 7th group, and we are going to show by cross. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. And this is another chlorine which is again in the 7th group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? Now see, I'm going to make the bonds now to complete the structure. So this is first bond, this is second one, and here we have double covalent bond. Let's see now, I need to have octet of each atom. So oxygen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. Carbon 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. For chlorine 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and even this chlorine is 8. So my point here is to show you that how you have to follow the key if it is given in the question. I hope you understood how to solve these questions, inshallah. And in the next video, I'm going to show and explain more skills that how to solve questions related to more topics. Okay, see you then, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.